what are the groups that you think are the most like passionate, enthusiastic, radical groups within the abortion rights movement today? A lot of you might say abortion funds. Why do abortion funds exist? Because people don't have money for abortions. Why do they not have money for abortions? Because of the Hyde Amendment, right? So like there's this direct line from this policy that took away funding of abortion for people,
You're
precisely those people who did not have hundreds of dollars to pay for an abortion.
For taxpayers to pay for your abortion.
That created the landscape, not just of abortion access, but of abortion activism, because groups that had a reproductive justice framework.
How many people had to pay taxes in the last week? I know some of you got refunds. Good for you if you got a refund. I had to pay money in, all right? Because that's just the way it rolls when you're working for yourself. I don't like the idea of the thousands of dollars that I just sent the IRS this week going for people who are using abortion as birth control because they are too effing lazy to get a fucking free condom. Like, am I asking too much, man? You can get free condoms. Like, when I went to the socialist conference, there was a whole table with free condoms. You could get flavored condoms, ribbed condoms, condoms in all sizes. You could even get dental dams. You could even get lube. You can walk into any Planned Parenthood in the country and get condoms for free. It doesn't cost anything. And if that's not convenient enough for you, like, condoms are actually really cheap. So if you, like, in an emergency need to spend a couple of dollars at the CVS, like, you can do that. It is not hard to not get pregnant. I promise you, it is really not hard. I had a metric ton of sex in college and I never got pregnant. I had a metric ton of sex in my 20s and I never got pregnant. Want to know why? Birth control and condoms. And if you can't do those simple things, like, accidents happen, we can all acknowledge that every once in a while an accident happens and women are really assaulted and pregnancy can result in that. And I get it. And I'm acknowledging that. However, the vast majority of unwanted pregnancies are completely and totally preventable if you just take very simple and easy precautions. And so, if you are unwilling to take those very simple and easy precautions, I don't want the thousands of dollars that I just gave to the IRS to go to pay for your laziness. I'm sorry. I don't think I'm asking too much. I really don't. Trendolin, thank you for becoming a member of the channel. I do appreciate it. Guys, when you become a member of the YouTube channel, you do get access to my supporter Discord, which means you can join us for movie night on Sunday. We're watching The Wolf of Wall Street at 8 p.m. on Sunday in my Discord. We do trivia. We talk about the movie. We talk about other stuff too. It is a really fun time. We do movie night every Sunday in my supporter Discord. And if you subscribe on my Substack, join my locals, join my Patreon, become a member on this here YouTube channel, you will get access to my supporter Discord and you will be able to come and join us.
Where groups that cared about access and cared about low-income people's needs were working their hardest to get people to care, like to get to pay, to raise money to pay for people's abortions. Like, they became mutual aid organizations. And this is a pattern that I think happened not just in the abortion access world, but in decades to come would happen around issues like maternal mortality.
Yes, make condoms a tax write-off. Fine.
Happen around.
Fine. I'm fine with that.
Racial justice and policing, right? Like, we can see other areas where this has happened, where, like, the absence of state support means that activist groups that notice the problem and want to fix it end up becoming mutual aid groups, end up providing the service themselves and trying to fulfill a state function. And I think we can trace that line directly back to the Hyde Amendment. Questions, thoughts, feelings about the Hyde Amendment before I move on?
No, let's move on.
I had a small thought, if that's okay.
Yeah. No, you're a man.
I have a question about, I guess, like, when you say, talking about how this issue is, this hot button type of issue, and it's one that is furthered in this like culture wars rhetoric. So I wonder about like getting past that, because like you were saying, talking about the first Black woman who ran, Planned Parenthood, and it not being, the opponents or the people who are anti-abortion who were attacking her. And it was more so the fact that the issue is one that they saw as kind of like it's too hot to touch. And so I wonder sometimes about how we kind of bridge that gap in a sense and get to those issues.
They sell condoms at the dollar store. No one has any excuse. This is not a complicated like scenario. They sell them at the dollar store.
Too difficult to even talk about for a lot of us?
That's a great question. I think there's a really powerful effort now that's intertwined with the Black Lives Matter movement, intertwined with conversations around economic inequality, that's saying like abortion is an economic issue. It's not a quote unquote culture war issue.
What?
It's a racial justice and an economic justice issue. And it has to be.
You're talking about abortion being intermingled with Black Lives Matter, and you think that's not a culture war issue? It's simply an economic issue. It's an economic issue. Is it, Amy? Does that reek of Marxism to you? Because now we're talking about the power struggle between classes, which seems a little Marxist to me, if we're honest about it. But it is a culture war issue. Amy is full of shit if she thinks abortion isn't a culture war issue. It is obviously a culture war issue. It has always been a culture war issue, and no amount of rationalization is actually going to change that.
Situated